You have this kind of like weird paradox, like where do I really stand? And then you have to really double down on who am I, right? I'm not as tough as you think I am. I'm as tough as I know I am, or I'm as resilient, or whatever it is.
That's
you know, you got to find your own heart, you know, and like you can get thrown in any. But I've always been around real cats. I've always been able to hit every borough. I've always had people in all types of walks of life. Right now, I'm selling to billion dollar clients.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm you know, been around just the everyday man who's, you know, just trying to get by, you know, and I feel like I've never been isolated from each experience, which was the beauty. It was a paradox of experiences because you could see both sides of the river, so to speak, you know.
Man, it's beautiful. Well, this is what most people, I really feel like there's the mentality as well as the relationship nuance that experience brings to the table that allows you to, it's not being a chameleon, it's just being adaptable, right?
Adaptable. You got to know how to switch up. You know, like I can't bring different rules applying everywhere, right? Like podcasting has its own set of rules as much as being in a boardroom or if I'm in TV or if I'm, you know, dealing with, as a parent, bunch of parents and, and the school system and how to approach those conversations. So I think adaptability has probably been one of my strongest traits because I find that people who don't succeed a lot of times always talking about when it was good, when it was easier, when things were different. And they stay in this place rather than how do I figure out how to make the most of the situation I'm in. And real estate, you know, market changes every year, you know, like, and you're in the middle of pandemic. And you get a under $2,000 stimulus. That doesn't even cover the food bill. How do you sell real estate when ain't nobody letting you in their house?
Man,
right? Like,
bro.
So you literally have to sit and adapt. And I'm like, okay.
Jeez.
And even in that time, that's where I met Ryan. You know, so like I think, you know, I've always been one to, I think, always just be a leader at the end of the day because you can't really sit back and let people tell you who you are, you know?
Oh, bro, listen, you out here dropping bar. We further along than I thought. You know, we off the top right here with, well, it's such
we can step back,
No, man, but it's an important narrative because, number one, I kind of grew up in a similar environment where Montclair, New Jersey was this immensely diverse town, but it had all kind of social classes. I mean, like, I lived in a one-bedroom apartment. But across town, up in Montclair, same thing, Wall Street, money coming in, but we all in school together. So it was a great experience. It's like a social experiment.
Sure.
But at the same time, you know, I'm out, we hungry just like the rest.
Right.
We hungry. We kids coming from East Orange. So it's just these types of, I think it's this kind of mindset understanding that really affords people to be dynamic in the marketplace, dynamic in relationships. And when you actually understand other people, cultures, you know, theoretically races, and not a I wouldn't even say just offended, intimidated by the differences, then you could actually lay those drawbridges and not just not just transact, but you can impact, right?
Transact and impact. Because even now, I mean, there's still so very few black brokers who are, you know, at the top of the game. I mean, we're still breaking ceilings, even with being ranked, you know, one of the top teams in the city.
Yeah.
It's still a new thing, unfortunately. I don't even know if there's another, you know, a few other black teams that are up there.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of them actually at Sirhan. He's made it a very inclusive environment. We have a lot of representative people I've never even knew were even existed. I'm like, you're out here too, you know, but... You know, it's always a blessing to still be a part of this experience because it is, as you said, impactful for everybody to see it and be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we definitely need you, man. So when you talk about some of those formative experiences, that was super dope with Mom. How did music come into play? You already talked about auditioning. I mean, like these were things that, I'm gonna be honest with you, even though I make my way into sports, they were like beyond my world. Even though New York City's right across the water, over there in Jersey, I'm like, even the radio, Hot 97 growing up, I was like, yo, can you really call in? It was something that was like with Dr. Dre. I'm like
New York City, yeah.
Like, yo, can you really do that?
Right.
So, I mean, when you're in it, and it's your world, and I learned that. But how does music kind of find its way through? Tell us a little bit about just kind of like this, either the passion, because you're nice with it, dog. I seen you.
Hey,
so give us a little bit.
You know, funny enough, I wasn't always nice with it. You know, like, and I'm not, you know, shaking my dad, but he probably was right. You know, I actually started off playing violin.
Man, so you got
My mother
instruments.
so I played violin. I taught myself piano for years before many years before I even had a lesson at one point.
Wow.
And my mother always used to play classical music. Haydn, Beethoven, Mozart. We didn't even listen to, I mean, we would listen to some hip hop, but she was very adamant on understanding the great composers.
Yo, your mom's a beast.
Yeah, she was a beast. She was a beast. And when it was time, because I remember it was like fourth grade and go, hey, we have to go pick an instrument tomorrow. What do we do? She's like, you playing the violin. And I'm like, I ain't playing no violin. I ain't walking on the hood with no violin, right? But at the same time, it was also another dare to be like, you know, just like, again, people brand it as being a soft instrument. I said, I'm going to do that then. Call me soft, right?
I love it.
And honestly, nobody did, right? And I played the whole time till high school, but it was just a foundation of understanding, I think, a deeper music palette for me.
Yeah.
But my father was a drummer.
Okay.
He played with a lot of big bands. He even, you know, played with Bob Marley at one point.
Nice.
He was writing his own music. So I was always growing up, listening to him play. The band was at the house playing deep reggae, like and playing for hours, you know. So like some stuff I don't even remember. I just think it's in me.
Yeah.
You know? And then just seeing it all, you know, like I just feel the '90s were just such a beautiful time for R&B and hip hop, and
special.
You know, you see, you know, some of the great guys like Biggie and, you know, Whitney was big and Michael Jackson and all these guys. You're like, wow, it just made you believe in dreams. I said, I'm going to do that.